You upload it, and then it just kind of lives out there in the ether world, well, in the podcast world, on the Spotify world, okay? In all the app, like all the worlds, okay? It's out there for months and months and years.
On the internet.
Spotify is not the internet.
I mean, it's the internet.
It's a podcast platform.
You can get to Spotify on the internet.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. S.O.B as in small-owned business. We would never call you guys names. Just two really quick things before we get started. One, pretty, please leave us a review on whatever platform you're on. It helps us get in front of more people. And two, if you're new here, we have a TLDL chapter. Too long didn't listen. So if you're strapped for time, you can go to that chapter and one of us will give you a brief summary of what we talk about today. When you get the chance, when you get time, listen to this entire conversation because that's where all the good stuff is.
I was going to say, that's where the gems are in the in-depth conversations that we have about marketing topics, you guys.
I know, and we have a great marketing topic today, Vivian. We are talking about podcasting?
Yes.
On a podcast? What a concept. I know.
I absolutely love that we're having this conversation because you and I have talked about this pretty often and on the regular. Small business owner, we see you. We know that you probably feel the pressure of, I don't know, maybe thinking, should I start a podcast?
Yeah.
And so today's conversation, we just want to give you a little guidance, take it from some gals who've done over 130 episodes at this point. It takes time and effort, and we just want to reframe that conversation to help you decide if podcasting is a good fit for your small business.
Yeah, today we're going to go kind of tit for tat. We're going to say this is what podcasting is great for, and this is what podcasting is not really going to help you with if you're trying to do this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, y'all? Yeah, it does.
And we want you, anytime any of these bright, shiny things pop up, like opportunities, we want you to always be able to go back and have the conversation. Let's treat it like any other marketing initiative, and let's actually assess it for the opportunities it has, the work and the investment, whether that be of time and resources that's going to take. And then how do we gauge the return on investment, right? Is it worth my time to even do this? Because there might be, other marketing channels that are a better fit than podcasting. So we're going to talk about all of that today. So please stick around to the end of the episode if that's you. If you're thinking, maybe I want to do a podcast in 2026.
Absolutely. Okay. Before we get started, Vivian, I have the the marketing hot take. This is a very ironic marketing hot take.
Okay.
Yeah. As a podcaster, I'd like to say we have too many podcasts. We don't need any more. I have a statistic here. According to Google, there are approximately 4.52 million podcasts globally, with an estimated 584.1 million worldwide listeners. Okay, we don't need any more podcasts.
All right, so that's Team Chelsea. If you agree with Team Chelsea, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below. Let me set you straight, baby sister. Okay? Yes, I'm coming in hot because I do not agree. 100%. So you're Team Vivian if you agree with me that we could use a little more podcast.
Can I just say, what a hot take to have for an episode where we're talking about, this is what, here are some reasons why you should create a podcast. Here are some reasons why you shouldn't. Yeah. What a hot take to have. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What are your reasons for podcasting?
My reasons for why I think we could use more podcasts is you are absolutely correct, Chelsea, on that number, okay? 4.52 million podcasts globally and an estimated 584 million worldwide listeners.
Yes.
Of those podcasts, though, globally, estimates suggest there are around 345,000 to 700,000 active. The reason I bring that up is this is part of the conversation we're bringing up today. If people feel compelled to start a podcast, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be consistent and that 6 months into it, they're going to still continue to do it because we're going to talk about how podcasting is a little hard and it requires consistency. So for people that are maybe disenfranchised, a little sad, they get unmotivated by the fact that like their podcast doesn't have 10,000 downloads in the first month and then they quit doing it. That's why there are quote unquote so many podcasts out there. That doesn't mean that they are active.
Okay.
So I say, if you are listening to this and you want to start a podcast, I want you to start a podcast and I want you to tell us the name of your podcast and give us a link to it so that we could go subscribe. All right.
Yes.
So we'll be your first followers. Absolutely. If you're starting that podcast. But I think this is a great hot take. Drop down in the comments your Team Chelsea if you think there are too many podcasts.
Yeah.
Your Team Vivian if you think we could use more podcasts.
Yeah. Also, can I say, very interesting for me to take this side. I love podcasts. I listen to a good bit of them. So I don't know what I'm on about. I think
she knows what she's on about.
I do know what I'm on about. There's, listener, we're on the same page. There's too many of a very specific type of podcast, right? We're on the same page. Let's move on. So Vivian, let's start this conversation with, can a podcast help your small business?
Yeah.
It depends. I think we have to start in the same place where we start with all of our marketing initiatives, which is, what are your goals?
Yeah.
What are we trying to do?
It's definitely got to be intentional, right? And I do think that we're about to go through a list of like what podcasting is really good for, but we would be remiss if we did not bring up the fact that times have changed. All right. And I'm sure now, when podcasts started, and there are still a couple people out there that if you say, hey, I'm listening to a really great podcast, they might be like, I don't know what a podcast is, but
Sure.
in the ecosystem of the general like culture, most people know what podcasting is. So it's become a very prevalent and popular form of content.
Yes.
Of getting information, of hearing deeper discussions, right?
Yes.
Outside of video, outside of social media platforms and all of that.
Which I don't want to get too into this, but if you're thinking about podcasting, don't discount video podcasts.
Oh, yeah, that's the new wave.
That's the new wave. That's where everything's going. Everything's about video now, babe. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I do want to also just give you guys a heads up that Chelsea and I do want to have another podcasting discussion on here. We'll have a full episode on the podcast. Yeah. We'll have a full episode about questions you should ask yourself and give you more of like a walkthrough. This overall discussion today is just to kind of see, would podcasting be a good fit for me? Right.
Yeah.
So it's not getting into the step-by-step process of what you need in order to launch a podcast. That will be
a different conversation. Yes. This is podcasting a good fit for my small business? And I want to really stress, Is a podcast a good fit for my small business?
Yes.
If you want to become a full-time podcaster, that is great. That is a conversation you need to have as well.
Yeah. This is specifically for the small business owner who is looking for it to promote their product or their service, or maybe their overall business in general.
Yes. Yeah.
Very specific.
Very specific. Vivian, let's talk about what podcasting is great for. It's great for building authority, establishing credibility, and creating authentic connections and building a community.
Yes.
Yes. All of those things are huge when it comes to this whole new SEO.
Okay. Go ahead. I think we were about to say the same thing.
Yes. If you haven't listened to our recent conversation on SEO and all of the new changes with SEO and how it's evolving, go listen to that conversation, okay? Because there are a lot of changes that are happening in that world right now.
It is very eye-opening, and I think it's good to catch that conversation now because, y'all, we talk about stuff that's changing like in the future on the up and up really quick. So you're going to be ahead of the curve if you go listen to that right now, okay?
Yes. Yes. But the key there for this new SEO, search everywhere optimization, is building authority and credibility. That's really important now more than ever because that is how these AI programs are deciding who gets to be in that AI overview or who gets to be shown to the person when they have a search query.
Yeah.
So podcasting is a great way to build that authority.
And kind of piggybacking off of the idea of SEO's, like search everywhere optimization, the key there is a combination of the video, the written content, and all of that you're putting out there, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to creating deeper connections as opposed or versus written content, I think podcasting is where it's at.
Yes.
All right. So like, yes, a blog is fabulous. And a lot of people still read blogs, especially if you do like a recipe blog or product feature, whatever it is. You giving them the content and information they're looking for, like check. Okay.
Yeah.
Glad you're doing that. Podcast, if you think about it, it's a way for you to actually have deeper conversation. Okay. So it's people have this weird, like, I don't want to say disassociation, but when something's written, it's very different than playing something in your car while you're driving and you kind of feel like you're listening in on a conversation or you're a part of the conversation, right?
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think there's something about when you're reading something, it kind of becomes, I don't want to say your own, but it's your own personal experience.
Oh,
you know?
okay. Yeah. So you shape it.
You shape it. When something is, I don't want to say being read to you, but when some other voice is a part of that conversation, then it's more of a community, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not the only one there.
Right. And I love that you bring this up because I will say if you are reading words, you get to put your inflection on stuff wherever it is, as opposed to when you're hearing it. Then
It's kind of like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's kind of like reading a book versus an audiobook.
Well,
Yes.
that's exactly what I was thinking when you said that is it does give you a very different experience.
Yeah.
So going back though, because I think the SEO thing is, I agree with you, it's such a big deal. Podcasting is great for search everywhere optimization because as Chelsea here knows, because she does all of our housekeeping for the podcast, she has to go in and actually put in chapters, right? So that it's easier for the listener if they want to skip ahead to a particular part of the discussion.
Yeah.
And she also uploads a transcript, which then gives that SEO extra information to crawl. Okay. So there are two things added on to just the video or the audio component that gets inputted that allows for discovery.
Which, can I also say, y'all, if you want to read the transcript, I also upload it to our website, kind of as a blog, quote unquote. So if you go to S.O.B marketing and you go to transcripts, you can read the transcripts for almost all of our episodes. I do have a little bit of a backlog, so I am going back and going through some of the previous transcripts. So not all of them are up there, but I am working on it.
Yeah, if you listen to like episode 1, I don't think she's got it.
No, I don't think episode 1 is up there, but I will get to it eventually.
But so if you don't like our inflection or our voice or anything like that, just go read the information. It works as well. All right. So Chelsea, what else is podcasting good for?
Okay. So we mentioned creating community. Community is very important for you small business owners. It's how you create your, my favorite word, Vivian, brand evangelists. It's how you create those brand evangelists that are going to help your small business grow. When people are invested in your small business, those are the people who are going to take the time to make sure that your small business is doing well.
Right?
Yeah.
One other way that this helps you to build community that I think a lot of people don't think about when they're launching a podcast is you have the opportunity for partnerships. So imagine this. What happens if I have a small business, right? I'm a potter, right? So I do pottery. And I happen to want to interview artists on my podcast. So then I go and
I'm sorry. I like music. That's like my thing. So when I hear artists, I think of musicians. So in my head, I'm like, well, what does musicians have to do with pottery?
No, I'm talking about other
I
artists.
know. I'm so sorry. My bad.
Yeah. So maybe there's, or let's not even say artists. Let me just say, maybe I'm a potter. I do vases and stuff.
Okay.
On my podcast, depending on what the purpose of my podcast is,
you invite florists.
Yes, it could align with that. And so then she says that because I've used this example before and she's tired of it. I could see it in her eyes, okay?
I was being funny.
But that's the thing is then that could potentially, if I tell someone, hey, come on my podcast, talk about your small business. They say, absolutely, everything goes well in the discussion. Once we wrap up the podcast, I say, by the way, don't you think it would be cool for us to team up later on to do some kind of like special thing for Valentine's Day? Yeah. We could put your flowers in my vases, sell it for a price. You get money, I get money. Okay. Yes. We leverage both audiences. You guys, those opportunities, as far as community, like Chelsea's saying, don't forget that it also means you can grow a community, not just from getting listeners, but also from getting guests.
Yes.
On your podcast.
I love that. And this is a great segue, Vivian, because my next point is it's a great lead magnet. Remember, the whole point is that you're a small business. It's a great way to lead people to your website. It's a great way to lead people onto an email list.
Or even into a membership community like the S.O.B Small Owned Business Membership Community for $50 a month. You guys could get on weekly Zoom calls with Chelsea and I, and we could talk about your business's marketing.
Yes.
Plug. All right. So, perfect lead magnet. I do think, remember that with podcasting, it takes a little bit more time.
Yes.
Now, this is a great thing, though, is while, yes, it's more long-term based, remember that episodes live a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is going to be doing some of that heavy lifting for you and being a lead magnet to get people interested into maybe your product, your service, your overall business after creation. So post-creation, right? You upload it And then it just kind of lives out there in the ether world, well, in the podcast world, on the Spotify world, okay? In all the app, like all the worlds, okay? It's out there for months and months and years.
On the internet.
Spotify is not the internet.
I mean, it's the internet.
It's a podcast platform.
You can get to Spotify on the internet.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Just saying.
I feel like you're trying to argue with me today. No. You're like, I hate your example. You don't know what the internet is, and there are too many podcasts. Let's shut this thing down.
I think both of us don't know what the internet is. Let's move on.
This episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is brought to you by the S.O.B community. If you're a small business owner that is neglecting your marketing and you feel like you've wasted money and time on marketing help that didn't deliver, or if you're just craving support from people who actually get what it's like to run and promote a small business, then our membership community is for you. Visit school.com/SOB to sign up today to get instant access and weekly support. That's SKOOL.com/SOB.
I love podcasts, even though it sounded like I didn't at the beginning of this episode. I love podcasting because it's great for niche marketing.
Okay, and what do you mean by that?
Niche marketing. There is someone out there for everyone, y'all. If you think you are strange.
I don't know if you're giving relationship advice or marketing advice right now.
I mean, marketing's just relationships.
I mean, you got a point.
Marketing's just relationships. There's someone out there for everyone. There's people who want your products, even if your product is weird as hell, okay? Someone still wants it. Marketing is all about finding the people who want your products, okay? So podcasting is great for niche marketing because podcasting gives you the opportunity to talk about your niche. There is an audience who's going to be interested in your hyper-specific topic. It's just about finding them.
Yeah.
And a podcast is a great way to find them.
Now, I would recommend, because you may be thinking right now, okay, I really don't know how to, I sell, what are they called? Leather, not belts, but a lot of the alt girls wear them. Corsets? No,
yes.
not really.
No, it's a corset.
Okay. So if you sell, like, let's say leather corsets, you're like, gosh, how am I going to use a podcast to tap into people? Think about what their interests are. Okay. Maybe to Chelsea's point, I mean, we went to a rock concert, and let me tell you, we went to Evanescence and
My Chemical Romance.
I
can't believe she forgot the My Chemical Romance part.
I know.
Concert.
I just hurt your feelings, but there were
I fought that Ticketmaster war for you to forget the My Chemical Romance part.
I did not forget, and quit doing your hands like you're the Godfather, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
But I did not forget.
Okay, go ahead.
But there was a lot of leather corset wearing ladies at this concert, which led me to believe, I'm like, gosh, I do not own enough leather. Like,
No,
I need to up my leather wardrobe.
Let me tell you, we were underdressed.
We were, okay? But case in point, if you are a clothing boutique that sells that style of clothing, obviously lots of the concert goers for My Chemical Romance and these types of bands would be the type of people that want to wear them. So maybe doing content based on, I don't know, concerts, inviting guests that are aligned with their general interest would then generate interest for the type of product that you're selling. So you kind of have to, maybe not necessarily you're going to do a podcast about leather corsets unless you somehow do a podcast about fashion, maybe.
Yes.
Right? Or something like that. So just kind of like you have to fly out a little bit and get a little creative with the perspective or the topic.
Great example of remembering who your target audience is. You got to get in the mindset of your target audience.
Right.
Solving the problems of your customers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
Love that. And then last but not least, this is touchy one for me.
Okay.
So podcasting can be cost effective.
Okay.
It is not free, y'all.
No.
Okay. It is not free. You need a hosting platform. If you want to do it right, you need mics. If you want to do a video podcast, which you need to do a video podcast at this point, then you're going to need a camera. You're probably going to need lighting. Like
Yes.
it can add up. I don't want to deter anyone. You don't have to buy expensive equipment. If you're just starting out, get your starter pack.
Yeah, agree. And sometimes, I'm of the mindset, use what you got until you can afford to expand and replace maybe a new camera, maybe new microphones, stuff like that. Also, the hardest thing at the beginning is getting yourself in the mindset to get the, I don't want to say the process, but the mechanics of podcasting down, right?
Yes.
Making sure, we struggled with audio quite a bit when we were like, why we have two people on a podcast, which is different than doing a solo podcast.
Yes.
All right. Why is the other mic picking up feed? We had to figure that out. But I say all that to say the beginning stages of a podcast are going to be very mechanic based. And so focus on that part of it. The equipment you can easily upgrade, and you'll find, don't go out there and you don't need to spend $300. Like Chelsea said, you know what it reminded me of when you were talking about you're going to need a podcasting platform, mics, this and that. It reminded me of like when you go to launch a website. You're always like, oh, websites at this point, I could do one getting by. Then it starts to add up. How much do I want to buy a template website? Do I want to pay someone to make it? How much is it going to cost for security, SSL certificate? How much is it going to cost for domain, to buy the domain, to actually keep the... Okay, there's a lot that goes on to websites, just like there's a lot that goes on to podcasts. You can, like she said, though, start off with minimum expenses and then grow it as your audience grows and as you see some of this actually feed into your business.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Vivian, let's talk about what podcasting is not great for. And you've touched on this a little bit already, and I'm glad you did, because the number one thing that podcasting is not great for is immediate results.
It is a slow burn, my friend.
Slow burn. Yes. And we say this all the time with marketing, because marketing overall is a slow burn. You need to give your marketing initiatives time to work. Usually, though, when we talk about giving marketing initiatives time to work, we're talking about weeks and or months. Podcasting, we're talking about
6
years.
months. Yes, 6 months, a year. And I think the other part of it too is slow burn is not bad. It's, and I shouldn't say this because it's not a hard and fast rule. Okay. I tend to believe though that the efforts, the marketing opportunities that take a little longer have the potential to create a much greater impact. All right. Okay. Because I do feel like, for one, you're having to navigate a new marketing initiative. And also, like we said, we love podcasting because it lives on in perpetuity. So the thing is, once the episodes are out there, people can binge, right? And as your podcast gets more, let's say you're a year into it, you're picking up way more speed and you're getting more listeners. Well, now they have this whole library of podcasts they could go back and listen to, which then means you get more, views, listens on it. Yeah. So that's perfect. It is a very slow burn. And I want to just hit that home because we don't want you guys to get discouraged. If you have a conversation that you think is meaningful, if you have information that you want to get out there, if you want to do a fun, silly podcast, we want you to do that. Just know, like Chelsea said, you're not going to get a month in and have this be a hit.
Yeah.
Or, you could be the,
it could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen.
Yes.
I want to point out, and this is something that I'm going to talk about at some point on our social media, there is no such thing as an overnight success.
Yeah.
Okay? Chapel Roan. Okay. She blew up, quote unquote, overnight this past, year? Mm-hmm. She didn't blow up overnight. She'd been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just, her hard work finally paid off.
Yeah.
That's how it works with these things.
And because you guys are small business owners, we don't got to tell you, business ownership is riveting, it's exciting, it's draining, it's exhausting, it's a little depressing at times, but it also involves a little bit of like hard work mixed with opportunity, mixed with a little bit of luck, right? Like, have you ever had something in your business happen that you're like, man, had I not had that conversation, I could not have had, it would not have led me to this opportunity that I have now, right? And so same thing with podcasting. I do love that for us, you know, it's just like any other marketing initiative where you guys remember, great, you launch a podcast, that's 50% of the work. You know what the other 50% is? Talking about the podcast you just launched. Promotion, promotion, promotion.
Yeah.
And so it is, you know, if one of the notes I had listed is podcasting is not great for the person who is already stretched too thin.
Yes.
If you guys are feeling like, I barely have a handle on my marketing, I do want to drive people to my small business, I can't add one more thing to my plate. Do not add podcasting. Okay. Podcasting, even for someone who's like, oh, I'm super interested. I got some time. I think I can launch this. It's still going to be hard for that person. Okay. Because like I just said, the podcasting is one thing. Great. You figure out the mics, you figure out where to post it, you upload your transcripts. Now you got to do all the promoting. Okay. Now I got to talk all the time about, you know, my podcast.
I have a little bit of a pushback.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think you could do it. I want to say, y'all, you don't have to have a weekly podcast.
Oh, true. Mm-hmm.
You could do a monthly podcast. You could do a quarterly podcast. Remember, if you are doing podcasting to push people to your small business, you're not trying to become a podcaster, then you don't have to do a weekly podcast.
No, you're right. And I'm glad you said this because for one, this leads back to what Chelsea mentioned at the beginning of the discussion, which is go into it understanding what your purpose for the podcast is. So you're not just like floating around, like, you know, doing all kinds of I don't know, crazy stuff because it's going to confuse.
Don't get lost in the sauce.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get your listeners confused. But I will also say, to your point, people have been using podcasts in different ways. You had mentioned lead magnets earlier.
Yes.
I have seen people out there, small business owners who are, let's say, selling a program or a course. And what they do is they actually will release a podcast playlist of only like, let's say 4 or 5 podcasts. And it's, you know, as long as they want it to be or as short as they want it to be. And it's very specific to talking about something that would help their ideal customer for the course. And then, so what they do is they use that as a lead magnet. Like, hey, by the way, if you're looking to learn about, you know, X, Y, and Z, go listen to this playlist. They hear 4 episodes, and then at the end, she routes them to the course. So that's how she's using it very specifically. So like you said, it doesn't have to be weekly. It could be very specific to what you're trying to launch, okay? So really, as creative as you are, you guys can figure out a way to use the podcasting. But just know, you're still going to have to promote the crap out of it.
Yes. Either way, you're going to have to promote it.
Yes.
I love that you mentioned this standalone podcast sort of thing. If you want it to be a reoccurring thing, remember that you're going to have to be consistent about it.
Yeah. Which is, like you said, if it's not weekly, then be sure that you stay on a monthly schedule, okay? Or bi-weekly, whatever that looks like. So that way, if people subscribe, they know what to expect.
Yes, exactly. Also, podcasting I don't know, Vivian, if you're going to agree with me on this point.
Okay.
Podcasting might not be the best use of your time if you, as a small business, are focusing in on a hyper-localized area.
Okay.
And I say this because podcasting is great for reaching larger audiences,
Right.
right? If you're focusing in on a very specific area, it's not necessarily a waste of time. It just might not be the most effective way to reach that audience. There might be better marketing initiatives to reach, to use.
Yeah, I feel really conflicted about that because I agree with you, but I also disagree with you. Okay. Perfect example. I think you are correct that maybe if there could be something out there that's better.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe something that takes less time, less, it's got a shorter burn time. Okay. So like something that's going to give you a return on investment quicker than the podcasting option. But I do think it could be used if you're a localized business. Take, for example, let's say a real estate agent.
Okay.
All right. If you had a podcast that had to do with the city that you sell homes in, right? And some of these discussions were used to maybe attract people that were moving into the area. 5 things you need to know about relocating to X, Y, and Z city. All right.
Okay.
Or if you wanted to become known as the person to be up on top of like local events, and that's how you used your podcast, or if you had interesting people from that town on the podcast, right? Maybe you're talking about why they're raising property taxes. Maybe you're talking about X, Y, and Z. You can leverage it. And if you promote it to the right audience, the people you are specifically looking to target, it could keep you top of mind to where then when they go to sell their house, they're like, I already know who my agent is because I love the podcast. She gives such useful information, right? Or I know she'll ask the hard questions or, whatever.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay. Or even, let's say a lawyer. Maybe a lawyer could do the same thing. It's they're localized in a sense of where they want to practice.
Yeah.
But they could hit on several topics that could draw new potential clients in.
Yes. Again, great idea. Just keep in mind the burn time, everything that's involved. I think remember what your marketing goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and will creating a podcast be the best fit? Because we can't tell you either or. We're just telling you, this is what podcasting is best for.
Absolutely.
I think I kind of went into the TLDL there.
Did you?
I did. Let me go ahead and do the TLDL, Vivian.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, y'all. So if you skipped ahead, this is the TLDL, Too Long Didn't Listen chapter. I'm going to give you a brief little summary of what we talked about today. So we talked about what podcasting is good for, which is building authority, establishing credibility, and creating authentic connections and building community. Podcasting is not great for immediate results. It's not great for someone who does not have the ability to commit a lot of time or can't be consistent. And it might not be the best use of your time if you're focused on a hyper-localized area, though Vivian and I kind of disagree on that point. Really, what you need to do as a small business owner is think about what your marketing goals are and if a podcast would be the best way to go about reaching those goals. Friendly reminder, y'all, make sure you are following or subscribed, whatever it is, on whatever platform you're on.
And please send us a voice note.
Yes.
A voice message. We want to hear your pretty little voices, you guys.
Yes. So you can do that by going to sobmarketing.com. And there's a little microphone symbol. I'll add it to the video if you're watching the video so you can see what it looks like. You just hit that and you send us a voice message.
And you can find that under the contact us page on the website. So
yes,
anything marketing related, any topics you want us to cover, if you just want to tell us hello or, let us know how you're feeling about the podcast, regardless of if it's raving 5 stars reviews or if you want to give us a 1-star, but probably
I was going to say only
Chelsea will probably give you some feedback.
Yeah, we're only accepting 5 stars at the moment, but go be the best SOB you can be.